Hey guys, I'm Ronin Writing, and today is Writer Wednesday. So today we're going to talk about your passions. What is it that you love? What is it that you're inspired by? What moves you and motivates you to write the things that you love to write? Those kinds of things are the things that you can use in your writing to really create an emotional, powerful resonance with your audience. One thing that I absolutely hate is walking into a bookstore, picking up a book, opening it up to that first chapter and reading a few paragraphs that are drab and boring, not because the setting is gray and not because the writer is using less than flowery prose, but because it doesn't seem like they really care about what exactly they're saying. They don't seem invested in their characters, they don't seem invested in their plot, and you can just kind of tell that they worked their way through this one. Usually that's a symptom of writing to the market, meaning they're trying to write stories to sell rather than writing stories that they really care about. And you can see the difference. Be the change that you want to see. Write the books that you want to see on the shelf. For me, a couple years back, I didn't read anything. I would walk into the bookstore, pick up a book, and it just seemed kind of the same as everything else, you know? White guy, falls in love with a damsel in distress, undead whore, dragon maybe, using words like verily and mayhaps. It's not like these stories aren't good, but it definitely felt like everyone was writing all the same kind of stories. Then I picked up Brandon Sanderson's book, Mistborn. Now, this is not a plug for Brandon Sanderson. He's a great artist, but this is my channel. In Mistborn, Sanderson gave me magic I'd never seen before, a setting that was totally unique, and characters that were really interesting. But none of that in itself was inherently what drove me through the story. What pulled me through was Sanderson's obvious love for the work that he was doing. Sanderson showed me that he loved what he did, and I read the hell out of that series. Not only did I read that book, I read the 2 books that came after it, the series that spawned after it, and every other thing that he'd done. I remembered Sanderson as being someone who truly cared about what he was doing, and because his passion was so evident in his work, it kind of inspired me. So I started writing my own books too. Now look, you don't have to be Brandon Sanderson. There's this famous saying that you shouldn't really compare someone's 20th draft to your first draft. You're probably new. Or, like me, you've been doing it for a couple of years now, but you know that you still have more work to do. That's cool. Just remember that passion comes first, then profit. Worry about saying what you want to say, not selling what you want to sell. If you're really putting in the time, devotion, dedication, and effort every single day that you work on your project, people will notice and they will pick it up. You'll make money as a secondary result, and you will be successful. But try not to define your success as how many dollars you make. You're a writer. And remember, you probably aren't as bad as you think you are. It's easy to criticize yourself, but there's something in your writing that is uniquely you. If you're so serious about your stories that you're actually dedicating yourself to writing a book out of them, then chances are you're a good writer. Or you'll be a good one eventually. So just keep at it. Keep at it. Dust those criticism flakes off of your shoulder. If you're having trouble, go back to what really inspires you. For me, it's history. I'm a huge history nerd. Love it, especially Eastern Asian history. Samurai, clans, warlords. And so it's those stories that I deconstruct to figure out why they make me feel the way that I do, and how can I emulate those stories in my own personal way to give that feeling to somebody else. Because at the end of the day, I just want people to be excited when they read my stuff. So relax. It's easy to self-criticize, but I promise, if you trust your instincts, it'll work out. And remember, everything has already been done. Someone once told me that Shakespeare has already written every single story. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's true, but I do think that every kind of story has already been written. That's why we have so many rules. That doesn't have to intimidate you, though. Remember, you don't have to be super duper original. You don't have to write the next great American novel. You don't have to be earth-shattering. And you don't have to be an overnight success. You probably won't be. What it does mean is that there are a ton of stories that you can use to help you structure your story. And you can use them as examples. Find something that you love, make it your own, pull out of it the things that you really enjoy about it, and give those things to other people. Also, if writing is the thing that you're passionate about, then remember to educate yourself. Listen to the masters, listen to other authors, and gather as much information as you can. Make yourself smart. But I want to share with you this thing called the burden of knowledge, which basically means that the more you know about something, the less fun it is. When you were younger, if someone gave you a couple of crayons and a piece of paper and said, write a story, you'd write something that was awesome. But you won't necessarily do that now because you understand more about writing. you know what it means to structurally create a story, and you understand things like voice, style, syntax, grammar, blah, 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 blah. Look, those things aren't boring necessarily, but they're not super fun either. You can definitely use those things to help you out throughout the editing process and when you're trying to make the story as good as it can be, but try not to worry about them so much when you're actually writing. Keep it fun. If it's fun, you'll sit down every day, you'll write a story, and it'll be dope. And if it's really fun, then you'll do it every single day over and over and over again, and you'll get better throughout the entire process. And remember, try not to take my advice so seriously, and don't take the advice of the other people seriously either. And I'm not just saying that because they're my competition. I'm saying that because all writers are different. All people are different. We all have a different perspective, and we all have a different way of going about the things that we do. All education is helpful, all perspectives are helpful, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do everything that everyone tells you to do. Like Bruce Lee says, absorb what is useful to you and discard what isn't. If you're listening to this video right now and you're going, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, then guess what, dude? Perspective reality. I probably don't know what I'm talking about. Discard that stuff and move on. Listen to another author, do your homework, read another book, but try to absorb what you can. And if I am saying stuff that you really think is awesome, thanks. I think about this stuff all the time. Work doesn't have to be work. If you can learn to embrace your passions and unleash them, they'll come through in your work. And all of a sudden, that slog you've been going through to get your book done, it's over. All right, guys, well, time is about up. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all, and remember to believe in yourselves. Teach peace. Have an awesome day. Almost forgot to mention, remember to like and subscribe to get these kind of videos every single Wednesday. Later.